Number 11, gentleman from St. Louis City.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To speak on the bill resolution.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Okay, so this resolution has gotten a surprising amount of attention this year as our House rules. And I know that probably a lot of people's eyes have already started glazing over talking about our House rules, and maybe we'll do so more and more as we continue today. But something really interesting happened with the rules this year. And that is, I think for the first time in my time here, and probably a whole lot longer than that, we had 600 people testify or submit testimony against these rules. Now, those of you who are new may not know if that's a lot. It's a lot. That's an unusual amount of participation in any bill, let alone our House rules. Now, part of that reason, of course, is that there's a spotlight in DC right now on a fight over how the House functions. And there are a lot of people suddenly realizing, hey, maybe our government that's supposed to be a representative democracy, a House of Representatives, shouldn't have all the power concentrated so severely in the hands of one or two people. I understand that that's probably not supposed to happen and doesn't happen very often in this chamber either, where there's noise from the gallery about one of these things. And you might even see some strange bedfellows in agreement on this topic. But the fact is, a lot of people on both sides of the aisle are realizing concentrating power isn't actually good for this process. Now, these rules changes that we're talking about today from our previous rules, I'll be honest with you, they don't make a terrible difference from our old rules. They don't. So the opposition to them, what I'm finding is, when I talk to folks about their opposition to these rules, it's sparked by some of the changes here, but it's really about the underlying problems with our rules, concentrating all of that power in the hands of one or two people. And these rules, in fact, came forward with a couple of changes that concentrate that power even more and weaken the power of individual members and thereby the people each of us represents. So we only have certain powers in here. We just talked about one of them. It's filing bills. Our ability to file bills on behalf of the people we represent, put that on the official record of a bill we're trying to file. Now we're going to cap that? One of the few powers we have left that wasn't limited? It's already hard enough to get a bill referred to a committee because only one person gets to decide whether it goes to a committee at all, even though the Constitution requires referral to committee. Well, we've, year by year, session by session, further concentrated that power in the hands of a couple of people. The change to the Rules Committee that's happening in these, that's another one. Just a little tiny bit more power in the hands of one person. And I don't think people want that. Now, what I will say is, I don't mean to disparage our current speaker or floor leader. I'm actually more optimistic coming into this session than I typically am as a minority member of this House in the minority caucus. I'm more optimistic about them having an intention of running this place more fairly. The floor leader expressed in committee repeatedly his desire and intention to dramatically reduce the number of PQs and the abuse of the PQ we've seen in the past, which has increased dramatically over the last 20 years. You'll see, I'm not actually going to offer my PQ amendment to try and rein that in out of some good faith hope that he's going to follow through on that promise. But the fact is, we just keep going further and further with this. So today you will see from my side of the aisle mostly, probably, hopefully a couple from the majority side of the aisle as well, some ideas of how we could improve these rules. Maybe not going a step further with a couple of these changes, but also maybe rolling back some of the changes that have happened over time and start to put the hands back more in each individual representative, and thereby in the people. I hope you will entertain these and actually listen to them. And even if you don't pass them today, consider getting these changes in down the road. It's for the sake of all of us. Now, the problem with these rules is when I go talk to members across the room about these various rules, over and over again, I'm getting agreement. Over and over again, I hear, yeah, you're right about that. But I can't vote that way. Well, you can't vote that way because of the concentration of power in the rules, right? They hold themselves in place. And until the day comes where we have the courage to say, let's change the rules, it's just gonna keep getting worse. Now, I do have one amendment I'd like to offer because I think it's the most significant change we could make in a policy outcome and where I'm the most familiar in this place. But I hope you'll listen to all the amendments that are presented and vote honestly on them. So, Mr. Speaker, I have an amendment.